What if I told you that everything you think you know is a big, fat lie? This can of tuna has a picture of a dolphin on it. Does it contain a dolphin? No. And who is the star of the show at SeaWorld? Not a human. Now if you take the, no, not this one, blue pill, you can go on believing that humans run this planet. But the, no, red pill will let you see world for what it really is. The truth is that we're all being controlled by interdimensional, extraterrestrial, quantum oh no, they found me! If you've ever talked to someone who believes in a conspiracy theory, any conspiracy theory from flat Earth to alien abductions, they might tell you that they've taken the red pill, and they think that you should take the red pill too. Of course, they're not talking about a literal pill you're supposed to swallow. It's a metaphor, a narrative device from a little 90s film you might remember called The Freaking Matrix! Now, in that movie, you take the red pill.
You take the red pill.
Now, in that movie, you take the red pill. Whoa, deja vu. It reminds me of eating a brownie that's also an M&M. It's genius. They lifted this idea from a children's book called Alice's Adventures
In Wonderland.
In which the main character, Alice, finds out
How deep the rabbit hole goes.
Author Lewis Carroll also wrote a sequel called Through the Looking Glass, in which Alice goes through the looking glass. And you know what that means.
What does that mean?
It means buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye-bye.
That's what it means. Anyway. Whoa! The rabbit hole! Help! Help! Dorothy! Kansas is going bye-bye! Help! Quick! Let's take blue one!
You take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe.
Whoa! I believe. I fell into a chocolate coma. Where was I? Right, the first Matrix movie, don't get me wrong, was awesome. Now, it totally violates the laws of physics to turn a human being
Into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
Correct answer, Neo. It is impossible because the human body consumes more energy than it produces. And even if you could do this, why would you use humans? Why not jellyfish? Or what about dolphins? Did you ever think of that? No, but is that a tuna foil hat? Why on earth would you... Look it up! Do your own research. Yeah, help yourself. Anyway, it was a great movie. However, none of its sequels managed to capture the magic of the original. Of course, I'm talking about sequels like The Flat Earth Red Pill, The 9/11 Truth Red Pill, The Ancient Aliens Red Pill. Not to mention that sequel where Warner Brothers has decided to make a sequel to the trilogy.
Warner Brothers has decided to make a sequel to the trilogy.
What?
Yeah, what? And, follow-up question. Why? 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 Back to the first Matrix movie. What made it so mind-bending is that it challenged you with the question, how do you know everything you believe isn't a lie? Which is why conspiracy theorists love it so much. Because, think about it for a second. How do you know that you are sitting right there watching this video? How do you know that you're not just a brain in a jar being stimulated with wires? The fact is, you don't. There's no possible way for you to know that. Scientists call that an unfalsifiable hypothesis. That means it can't be put to the test and proven wrong. Because in order to find out if you're a brain in a jar, you'd have to somehow get out of the jar, which, convenient for the person making the claim, you can't do. Now, springing this on someone really shakes up their sense of reality. If you can convince them that they've been lied to by everyone else, then that makes you their only source of truth.
Your teachers have filled you with lies.
Well, they did kind of whitewash the whole Columbus killing natives thing.
And you've been lied to by your parents.
Yeah, I suppose they held a few things back about the birds and the bees.
And the government lies to you literally all the time.
Well, that's not hard to believe. I guess you got a point there.
Therefore, dolphins are taking over the world.
Oh, maybe he's right. Most people would feel a little disconcerted getting messed with like that, but shake it off as the cheap trick that it is. However, someone in a vulnerable mental state might get so shaken up that the conspiracy theorist can actually win them over, because there isn't a gene or a personality type or an astrological sign that makes you fall for conspiracy theories. You just have to get hit with it at a time when your resilience and critical thinking are low. Maybe you haven't been sleeping well, or you just had a bad breakup, or moved to a new town. Maybe you're living on your own for the first time. You get hit with one of these mind-bending theories, and you start to fall down the rabbit hole, or go through the looking glass, which I guess is somewhere in Kansas.
Because Kansas is going bye-bye.
Apparently this movie couldn't decide which metaphor to use, so just went with all of them. Kind of like a conspiracy theorist who can't decide if the Twin Towers were taken down with explosives or space lasers or missiles or if it was all just a hologram. Hell, there's no proof for any of it, so why not check option E, all of the above? Conspiracy theorists love making unfalsifiable claims like this because it's impossible to prove them wrong.
Dolphins are taking over the world!
There's no evidence that dolphins are taking over the world.
Because they're suppressing the evidence.
Well, no one has ever seen a dolphin in charge of anything.
They're all hiding. They're shapeshifters.
That makes no logical sense.
Because you've bought into the mainstream narrative.
You mean facts? Because everything you've said is a narrative.
You would say that because you're part of the cover-up.
I guess I'm just a blue pill kind of guy. But damn, these are good.
So good, but only the red ones.
I guess we've seen the last of him.
Do your own research!
Arguing with a conspiracy theorist like that is kind of pointless. Because without a falsifiable hypothesis, there's nothing to test, and they can just make up whatever they want. Remember, if something can't be proven wrong, it also can't be proven right. And pretty much every conspiracy theorist does this. Flat earthers will say,
how do you know the Earth is round? Have you been to outer space and seen it for yourself?
UFOologists say,
well, how do you know that aliens aren't abducting people? Can you prove that they aren't?
And 9/11 truthers will say,
how do you know those towers could collapse without planted explosives? Are you an expert at structural engineering?
All these lines of reasoning shine a spotlight on an aspect of our humanity we don't often think about. And if a conspiracy theorist is the first to bring it to your attention, it could feel like they just gave you a secret truth. It feels amazing, enlightening, awakening, and you might feel like the rest of what they have to say will also be true. And you'd be wrong. So, instead of hearing it for the first time from a conspiracy theorist and getting your socks knocked off by them, please allow me to be the one to break this news to you. As a human being, you don't know shit. There are approximately 200 countries in the world that you haven't been to. There are 7,000 spoken languages that you don't know how to speak. There's 130 million books that have been written that you haven't read. There is so much shit that you don't know, it's kind of terrifying. And in your entire lifetime, you'll be lucky to become an expert at just one kind of shit. Just one. From cosmology to cosmetology, you might nail one of them. And chances are that measuring the circumference of the Earth is not your area of expertise, and neither is studying forensic evidence of airplane crashes and building collapses, or identifying every single object in the night sky just to make sure one of them isn't an alien coming at you with an anal probe. So, that's the sad truth. As a single human being, we don't know shit. But there's good news too. As an entire human species, each of us with our own specialized areas of knowledge, put together, we know a lot of shit. Our collective brain power has invented the nanotechnology to put a supercomputer in the palm of your hand. We built a global network of satellites, fiber optics, and data centers to stream 1 billion bytes around the world in the blink of an eye, encoded with sophisticated compression algorithms that can render this. Incredible. I feel like our civilization has simultaneously reached a new high and a new low. But tapping into the knowledge of other people means you have to trust other people. You have to take NASA's word for it that the Earth is round, and we really went to the moon. You have to take the engineer's word for it that airplanes really did cause the Twin Towers to collapse. And you have to take the astrophysicist's word for it that millions of objects in the universe have been charted and studied, and so far, none of them are trying to probe Uranus. NASA is run by dolphins! You think those so-called experts will tell you the truth? Experts lie. Why should you trust them? Do your own research. Hey, well, it's a good question. And by the way, something you should also ask about the conspiracy theorist. Why should you trust them? Calling everyone else a liar doesn't automatically make you a truth teller. But my point is, you have to trust someone. As a single human being with only a few trillion brain cells of your own to work with, you can't do your own research for literally everything. So, how do you know which other humans know their shit and which ones are just full of shit? Well, that, my home dogs, is the subject of another video here on Think This Through. Until then, stay sane. Do not click that like button. Do not subscribe to this channel full of lies. Leave a comment below saying that you know the truth. The truth that...